Okay, so we had this exact same session yesterday for the OMS folks. So it's going to be a repeat of that session. So people who joined yesterday, you may get bored. If you're more than welcome to stay. But like it's the exact same thing. One difference that is going to be here compared to yesterday's presentation is I'm expecting Vinod to show some conversion he has already done and he is in the process of doing. That's one thing that we did not show to the OMS folks that we may be showing here. Other than that, it'll be the exact same thing. Okay. So welcome to Event Management System. My name is Arun. I've been with McLean forever. And again, all these things are because of the folks that I'm standing upon. Like without them, I would not have been able to do this. So thanks to them. So to begin with, what the system is not about, right? Like what event management system is not. It is not a cron job. It is not a replacement for scheduling. It is not a replacement for DBMS jobs. It cannot run OS level scripts or programs unless DBAs allow us. If DBAs allow us, we'll be able to do that too. So what is event management system, right? So this is totally within the Oracle system. So if you're in Oracle, it's your friend, right? Like you can take full advantage of the system. It works alongside scheduling. Please let me know if I'm rushing or something because there is a lot of materials to cover. Please let me know. There is going to be a demo which may last for an hour and a half. So if I'm rushing, if something does not make sense, please stop me right there and ask questions, please.
Yeah.
It works alongside scheduling. It runs Oracle SQL. It executes procedures, packages, all that stuff. So you can say, I want to run this procedure every 5 minutes. I want to run this on a Monday at 8 a.m. Meaning, like you can say, I want to run this on the 60th day of the year or the 18th Monday of the year, or you can say, I want to run this on Thanksgiving at 12 p.m. You can say, I want to run this the last day of the month or period end. You can specify any kind of things. The one thing that is not here that I did not think through, but it can still be accomplished is I want I want to run something between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. On these days every 15 minutes. It is kind of not there, but it can still be achieved. I'll show you like what helps you achieve that. So everything is there, right? Like you can specify, I want to run on even weeks, odd weeks, these days, whatever. All those cycles are there. And then it helps you with process controls. So what is a process control, right? So in today's OP and SIGWMS world, like what happens is when people are running a billing, somebody will be closing loads. So these go against the same inventory tables. So one is trying to allocate inventory and one is trying to relieve inventory. This kind of, if it is the same item, same row for the same division, it will be a one would have taken a row lock and the other would have to say, I cannot do anything, and then it'll error out. So instead, what we do is we kind of serialize it using process controls. So when these kind of things happen, we say, okay, when this particular thing is happening, you appear as if you are running, but once the other process is complete, you can resume. So this one has those process controls. So you can kind of sequence events that need to be sequenced. Again, as I mentioned, like if If you have to run certain things like one time or any number of times, you can say, I want to run this on this particular day and schedule it and forget about it, and it'll take care of it. And then it also provides a log of what is happening, right? So how does it work along with scheduling? So in the scheduling environment, okay, it's going to be a totally different approach to the scheduling than what you have been doing. In the scheduling environment, there's something called a driver script that is running, right? The driver script is a very generic script, and it runs and it goes to the database, like it could be OMS T1, D1, OMSP, whatever database. It goes to those databases and says, what do you have for me to do now for these applications, right? So the application could be OMS, TMS, WMS Lite, WMS Hub, anything. It'll say, what do you have for me to do now across all divisions? And the procedure will give a count of each applications, each jobs that are eligible to run. Once those counts are given, imagine as if you are on highways. So you have for each application, for each division, right? You have multiple lanes assigned. By default, you are assigned 3 lanes, meaning 3 jobs can execute at the same time, right? So for each application, each division, you have 3 lanes assigned. So at that time, if for WMS Hub, there needs to be 3 jobs running, each lane will be assigned a job to run. So they will get running. And then if there are more jobs, it'll fall behind the queue as if you are going on the I-35 or whatever highway. So the things that can go in parallel will go in parallel. The things that have to wait behind go behind. But a minute later, what happens is the driver script kicks off again, and it opens up the lanes again. Okay, so this predefined lanes does not need to be 3. It can be based on the workload that we see for each division, each application. It can be increased or decreased, right? So for Cumberland, you may need 3. For Sun East, you may need 6. So we can, like scheduling can help us determine the number of lanes that we need for each division based on the division's workload and all that stuff. But to begin with, we have 3 running. Yeah, these events are each assigned a lane. If the number of events exceeds the number of lanes, they are queued up. And then, as I said, like about a process control. So if load, close, and billing have to run together, whoever runs first get running. The other one has to wait until that process control is relieved, right? So it is still there, waiting to be run, but it is checking if I can run now. If I can run now, once it says I'm able to run, it'll kick off. So you will not have these contention. Okay. So what is a lane, right? In today's world, what you call job is the lane. Okay. So what happens when a job is run? When a job is run, or when a lane is running, when a lane seems to be running, a generic SQL script is run from scheduling. It is a generic script. You don't have to tell scheduling, I want to run PO, I want to run this, I want to run ship confirm. You don't have to tell anything. It's all from the scheduling perspective, it's all generic. Generic script is running, and then scheduling will be will be setting up the framework as it should be. We should not be setting any framework within any procedures. It should come from external agents like scheduling or Java UI or whatever. So the scheduling will be setting up the parameters. So once they set up the parameters for the procedure, that's that sets up the context, right? So the DCID, right? Like DCID, you may hear as well I'm saying it as organization ID. The reason being, right now, Rich is also using this to run WMS Lite through the event system. So what is happening is he is running for all divisions for WMS Lite application, right? When he's running for all divisions, he is running as like a corporate job or a McLean job. So it includes food service, like grocery, all those stuff, right? So he's just running, I think it is a TMW job, or I don't remember, but like it is a corporate job. So it encompasses everything. So the organization ID could be a DC ID, like a 800 or a 260 or whatever you have seen, or it could be just an MCL, meaning I am running a corporate job. And on failures, you will get the group. So WMS Hub, if the application belongs to WMS, the WMS Hub group will be getting an email. If it belongs to OMS, the OMS group will be getting an email. Plus, it will send the same email to the operators, so they get alerted, create a ticket, and then contact the appropriate group. Okay, so this is the same thing that we have been saying, but a little bit more in scheduling terms on how they have achieved this, right? So I'm going to read. Okay, any questions so far? Anyone there?
Hello? No question from my side.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this job will get a list of control M resource names defined for the event manager for the past database, right? Like I said, it could be OMS T1, OMS D1, OMS P. So it gets the list of resource names and sets the resource count to 0. We will see what that resource means in the next slide immediately. Okay, and then as soon as it sets the 0, sets it to 0, it calls an Oracle procedure and gets the count for each application and the each application / DC or organization, and gets the number of jobs that are waiting. Okay, and then it opens up the lane and they start running. That's what this says. And then once it starts running, like take it as is. The resources are reset to 0, and then next time when the driver script runs, the procedure goes and says, okay, how many jobs do I have to run now, right? So the first time, say you saw 6 and 3 are already running. Next time when it resets to 0 and now it says 3, or the queued up one could have already commenced, it may be 2. Okay, so this is how the resources are defined in Control M, right? So EM is for event management, so that's the prefix, and then the database name. So it could be OMS D1, T1, OMS P, and then the application, which is OMS, TMS, WMS, WMS Lite, and then if it is a grocery or a warehouse specific job, right? If it is a warehouse specific job, this is an optional name, like that's why you see a square brackets here. So if it is warehouse specific, you put FS or grocery. You don't have to worry about any of these at all, right? But this is, I'm just saying, this is how the resources are named. And then the div ID is, if it is corporate, you say MCL. If it is just grocery specific for all grocery divisions, you put GRO. If it is food service specific for all food service division, you just put FS. If it is DC specific, this is a legacy ID. These are the legacy IDs. And then the FinDiv code, right? You don't have to worry about this. These are all obtained from the either the environment or the database, right? Like the division table. So these values, and then the div code, right? Which is the DC ID 100, 160, 606. So these are how the resource names are being sent to Control M. Control M, on Control M, they have defined these. They are defined to look for these, right? So if something is not in this list, the request that will be sent to Control M team from now on will be just, I want this resource name and I want 3 lanes or 4 lanes, right? By default, they're going to set up 3 lanes. So this is what we are going to be requesting control team, right? Scheduling team. We are going to say, this is what I want. So we have already defined for food service, Cumberland, Concord, Northeast, Southwest, Southern, Dothan, and Western on OMS D1. On OMS D1, I think all the 4 divisions that I mentioned, like Concord, Cumberland, food service, and Northeast are defined, plus MCL is defined because Rich is running scripts for MCL. The code is there on OMS T1, D1, and as well as NP. We have not defined anything in the production environment yet. Okay, the driver script does the following.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have one question on the resource name.
Okay.
So the first one will be prefix will be always it will be EM only.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then what about the database names with respect to Manhattan? The second,
okay, we don't have these events running on Manhattan. This is just OMS databases.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, Manhattan, they are running their objects, right? Like their packages and procedures. We do have like few handful of scripts that we run, but other than that, we don't have the number of jobs that we ask scheduling team to run on OMSP. We don't have that many. So.
Okay.
Okay. Shoot, I went forward. Sorry, backward. Okay. So again, this is something that we talked about. Reads the resource map on control M, builds a list of all OMS XX T1 D1 P resources and sets them to 0. Executes the SQL query and gets the pending request, and then returns allow multiple jobs to run on the lane. And again, this is something again we talked about. You can read through this from a workflow standpoint. The driver sets everything to 0 and assumes there is no work to be done. Once it queries the table, it might see Southwest needs 10 requests, and then it will set the count to 10. And since there are only 3 lanes, it will run 3, and the 7 are queued up. And then if one of them finishes, the queued up one will use the lane. If not, the next time the driver script runs, it'll see 7 and it'll open up 3, right? Any questions so far?
So Arun, like I have one question on the overall flow. Like, do you have any slides which will talk about the?
We are going to go through the demos.
Okay.
Yeah, there is going
so
to be
as per my understanding from the previous slides, I understand that the scheduling framework needs the resource names and the hierarchy that you explained. What should be the hierarchy, and that hierarchy has to be provided to the scheduling or the event manager.
No hierarchy. We just say if it is not in this list, right? If it is okay. As I mentioned, we have defined for Lakeland, Cumberland, Concord, and Northeast, plus Southwest, Southern, Dothan, and Western. We have defined for 8 divisions on OMS T1. If it is not in that list, that's when we go to the scheduling team, say, I want resource for this particular division. If it is in that list, we don't even have to go to control M unless we see a need to increase the number of lanes. All we are saying is we need food service for OMS T1 or OMS D1 or OMSP. That's like food, not food service. We need to be specific. We need food service for Lakeland. That's all we go. We are going to tell control scheduling team. Scheduling team by default will assign 3 lanes. And if you want to increase the lanes, you tell them that. That's it. You don't do any like that. That's the role between a scheduling team and us. That's it. We are not going to ask for anything anymore.
Okay. So now let's assume that we have the resource names ready, the set of predefined list names, resources names. So what's next? Like,
yeah, that we are going to see. But with the scheduling team, we are done with them.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
like with the scheduling team, this we are all done, right?
Okay.
Okay. So the credit goes to like this idea of distributed job scheduling on the control M's or scheduling side goes to like it was conceived by Michael Lehman. It was scripted by Rich Halpern, and I have been like Corinne has been helping with me with run several proof of concepts with these. So without these folks, it would have been harder. So they are the ones who helped me get through this, and thanks to them. So next, as I mentioned, we have been talking about organizations. So organizations could be the company McLean Company, or the virtual classification of food service or grocery, or it could be warehouses, right? That is the organization. Applications are like we create applications for these organizations or corporate, and we meaning MBIS team, right? Like we don't worry about external products. So we create applications. So the applications could be for OMS, WMS, TMS, WMS Lite. We create applications on the OMS environment, and these applications have objects like procedures and functions, and we define them in the event system, and scheduling runs those in lanes, right? This is just a visual representation of what we talked about. Any questions so far? Are you all good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Yes.
What was that? I didn't hear you.
No, I'm good. It's just.
So the key terms we will be hearing within this system are organizations, applications, cycles, events, event parameters, groups, group events, organization defaults, restrictions, helper, queues, and logs. So these are the key terms that you will see all these in the demo today, except for cycles. Cycles is something that you're going to see it, but it is not that I don't have a better way of presenting to an end user at this point of time. Once I figure out how to present it better, I will try to revamp the cycles approach. But for now, let me explain what cycles is. So there are 3 different cycles, right? Interval cycle. What is an interval cycle? Interval is something like where I say, I want to run this program every 5 minutes, or I want to run it every day, or I want to run an hour every hour, or I want to say, I want to run once a decade. All these are intervals, right? So that is an interval. Then you have specifics. Specific intervals are, I want to run this on second Monday of every month, or I want to run this on the Thanksgiving Day at 11 p.m. Or I want to run this on 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th weeks of the year. So you're being specific on what days or weeks or months you want to run it on, right? Those are specifics. Then you have generics. Generics are something like, I want to run this on the last day of the month or last Sunday of the month. So why is it a generic, right? Last day of the month. It could be like there could be 29 days, there could be 28 days. We don't know about it. So you're being generic. You are not being specific. And then last Sunday, there could be 4 weeks, there could be 5 weeks. We don't know about that. So we have those are all the generics. So we can approach cycles in all these 3 different aspects, right? So if the example that I provided earlier, where you want to run something every day between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. at this time, the current approach I would take is going through generics, right? It can be still accomplished, but I would the better way might have been to union of interval and specifics. I don't have that today, but I will work on it. Okay. So this to present to the end user, there is not an easy way for me at this point of time. That's why it is not there. But once I figure out, I will try to present this also to the end user. Any questions so far?
No, Arun.
Awesome, thank you. All right, let's get on to the demo, right? Vinod, are you here? Vinod?
No, Arun, Vinod has not joined anything, sir.
Yeah, I don't see Vinod in the meeting room.
Okay.
Do you need him?
Yeah, I not right away, but I would like him to show the things that he has converted in WMS Hub, but not right away. Yes, eventually, yes.
Reach out
Okay.
to him.
Okay, so this is a kind of proof of concept screens that I put together. So this tells you, so if on OMS T1 right now we have only WMS. This is a live data, right? This is coming from OMS T1. Okay, so this is telling you the events that are running or the number of executions, right? Like it could be the same program, but it is running every 5 minutes, right? The number of executions that has happened on OMS T1 for WMS Hub. If you have other applications, they will be listed here, right? So once they start defining other applications, they will be here. And then for each division, what are the number of executions? The reason that you are seeing Northeast to be that high is Vinod is running update event. Sorry, one of the events is update item master, right? Update item master every 5 minutes, right? That's why you see this high. These are all just my simulations, right? So I don't have anything that is running that often. That's why these are not, you're not seeing that to be peaking. And exactly for the same reason, you're not seeing it because the number of runs by organization for these are very less. So that even though there is a count, if it is readable, there is they have processed customer order for Lakeland. This is coming from OMS guys, right? They have scheduled it to run through event. So it has run 5 times. In Southwest, like the number of events, I don't think it is run. I don't have a count for these. So it tells you all the events and the number of times something has run, right? And then this from the.
So is it like around like what do we have this in x-axis, y-axis like?
Okay.
It's not readable.
Oh, it is not readable.
Able to see the charts and.
Is it better?
Yeah, I think it is in WMS. Okay, yeah, it is better now. Yeah, please go ahead.
So this is the number of a program, number of or total executions, meaning all the programs together for WMS Hub. How many executions have we done, right, through the event system? And again, total executions by organization. All the programs for Northeast, how many times have they run? Okay, again, I don't know to do CSS properly. That's why you see these, but like once you get a professional, they will do a better job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Arun, Vinod is on the call now.
Oh,
And
thank
note
you.
this, and I do want to make sure everybody understands that this right now is these screens that Arun is showing is something that he put together. My assumption, though, is we will probably work with getting this over to a Java process application that's out there, just so that Arun didn't have to maintain this in the future. So the look and feel will probably look different, but I think Arun did a great job putting this together for the interim solution.
Yeah.
So here you have the number of completed events, and then you also have the canceled events, right? And then here you have the complete. You'll try it. Okay, let me go explain or show you the screens first before we can delve into the graph again, okay? Because the graph may not make sense at this point of time. Okay. So as I showed you the key terms, all those menus are available. We'll go through some of the menus and then we'll get into the demo, okay? So organizations, right? So this is, again, as I said, it comes from the divisional table. So we have the organizations defined. So nobody will be touching this screen. So all the screens that you're going to see here will have the same look and feel. They are sortable. They are filterable. You can do any of these. You can hide and show. You can do all those. You can export to CSV. You can export to PDF. You can register new organization, but we will not be doing it, right? Like when a division comes along or when a division is retired, this is something that will be done behind the scene most likely because we are feeding it from some other table. But the screen is also there. That's all. And this is, if you see, it has a parent-child relationship. So if you see, McLean is the parent with no parent to itself. That's the company level, and then the sub companies are the virtual classifications are food service and grocery, and then you have all the warehouses either classified as food service or grocery. Right, these groupings are there for helping us with reporting as well as for running scripts. Okay, and then you have the applications, right? So TMS, WMS Lite, OMS, WMS. So these are the different applications that are there. And then cycles. Okay, so these are the predefined cycles that will work, but any cycle that you want to add, at this point of time, since I don't have a way for you to define it, you may have to come through me. But if you know how to write SQL, you're more than welcome. It's easy. I can show you how to add it to this, right? So the cycles that I have are daily, on demand, weekly, weekends, weekdays, monthly, half yearly, quarterly, annual, twice a month, once in 2 months, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, Sunday, Tuesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 hours, 12 hours, like last day of the month. You can read it, right? Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like all the first of the month, middle of the month, once a decade, alternate months, first day of the last week of the month, first Monday of every month, last Sunday of the month, 11 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day, noon of April 14th. This is just to give you an idea of how all you can create a cycle. Like it is not that you're going to use it, like most of these are waste, but just to give you an idea of if you have a need, we can accomplish that. That's all it is about, right? Most of these, I don't think we are going to be using. But I have tested through all these. It seems to be working. But again, I am a horse with blinders. So I'm yeah. So if more folks start testing, we will figure out any other issues and then we can start fixing those. I also want to show one other thing that we did with event management system that we can talk about it later. But to give you an idea, these are the cycles, right? Every Wednesdays, I want to run at 10 and 12. Every Tuesdays at this time, every 15 minutes, all those things are there. Okay, that's the cycles. Then coming to the events, this is where we are going to go back to the demo, right? So events in our Parlance is nothing but it is calling it's the entry point to your Oracle procedure. So if you are going to do a receiving, you define that is my entry point, and you also say I want to run it. No, you just define your procedure, right? You say this is an event and this is for receiving. That's what you say here. Once you define the procedure, you say you define all the parameters that procedure needs, right? So it would be DC ID, user ID, whatever. You define that here. And then the groups, at this point, the events need to be associated to group, even if there is only one event. Like I'm thinking of approaching it differently later, but right now, if there is one or more events, it is still going through a group. We will see through those examples now. Okay. So when you create a group, that is where you say how you want to run, right? So if you see here, some are on demand, some are 30 minutes, some are 1 hour, some are weekdays. So the way you want that group to be created, you specify this is how I want this group to process. Once you create your group, you associate the event that you created, which is the procedure, to the group, right? You all with me so far?
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay, I am going to, what's that? Somebody said
So
something?
we'll be defining the interfaces. What is the procedure of package, and then the interval of running it here in the application.
Yep. Yeah, we are going to show see something. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let us start. I will show you this one, and then I will show you one more thing, and then Vinod will show how he converted some of the existing ones, and then we will come back and do a little bit more involved one. Right. The first one would be a simple one. The second one will also be a simple one. The third one is Vinod will show. I'm putting Vinod on spot. Vinod, you're ready, right?
Arun, yeah, I'm just have to reboot my computer because my again my DB is not getting connected. So I'll reboot and
Yeah,
give
no,
me some
you have few minutes, Vinod. Like I have two things to show before.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Vinod will show how he converted some of the existing WMS hub scripts to an event, or in the process of converting. And then third, it will be an involved demo of how we are going, like it is simulating a billing, right? That will be the last demo. Okay, so the first demo is inventory sync, right? Something that is happening. Again, this is a simulated environment, so bear with me. It is not. It has no logic, nothing. It is a simulation, and imagine this inventory sync is happening between SIGWMS, OP, and mainframe, right? Or it could be the other systems too, right? It is just a simulation. So in today's world, you may have just the DC ID, right, as a parameter. But once the event is introduced, the procedures that you have need to have the QID as a parameter. So that is requirement number one. So except for these are whatever parameters the procedure need plus the QID. The reason I have these two procedures with QID in different places is it does not matter where QID is, but QID need to be there. That's all I'm saying, right? So QID needs to be part of the parameter to use the event. That is one. So anybody have any question on the spec? It's two simple procedures.
DCID. Yes, sorry, please go ahead. You were saying something, Arun. I think I
No. I just asked if anybody has any questions on the specification.
So now currently via control M the DCID is getting passed. So we'll continue to pass the DCID, but like what should be the QID and like from where?
You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then next one.
You will be worrying only about DCID. I'll show you like even the user ID. If your parameter, this is again, these are user defined parameters. I added user ID if it is there. If you don't have a user ID, you don't have to put the user ID.
Okay.
Like but you need to put the QID, and once you put the QID, I will show you what needs to be done. But other than that, you don't have to worry about what needs to be passed for that. You just put the QID and forget about it.
Okay.
So this is the body, right? So in here, so Please make sure that you don't set the framework within your procedure, right? That is the bad habit. The framework should not be set within the procedure. It is coming from control M. I'll show you that too. Okay, so this is you're initializing the framework, and then this is something that you put in your code, right? Wherever you want to tweet or you want to log, you say, I want this message, right? Like whatever is the appropriate message, right? So actually there will be some logic here where you are extracting inventory from OP, building it and sending it to mainframe. Instead, I don't have a logic. It is just a simulation. I'm just doing a sleep, right? So I'm saying at this point of time, I'm going to be extracting inventory, and then the logic is running, and the logic is saying, say it takes 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. As long as that logic, unless that logic is complete, you will be seeing this message on the logging screen. Once that logic is complete, it goes to the next step where it says, now it is in the process of writing that to the mainframe, right? Sending it to the mainframe, and that the time taken for that logic, right? So the things that you do are you introduce QID, you tweet for every break of logic so that you know at what point of time you are in, and then at the end you do a finalize. You say, I want this event to be finalized. If there is any exception in your logic, you say, I want to set the status to be failed, and then you do the logs.error. The logs.error should be the last one because it has a raise. If it is before that, it will never reach this code. So it needs to be the last one. Okay. Another procedure, this is going to the mainframe simulation. This is coming back from the mainframe simulation. So where, again, it is the QID, the framework being set. Next thing is you're saying, I am tweeting, it is back from mainframe, and there is some logic applying whatever came back from mainframe. And then another tweet saying, these are the mismatches I found with mainframe. I'm going to build that logic and send it to the mainframe. And then the finalize. If there is any failure in the logic, I change the status and then do a logs.error. Any questions so far?
No.
Oh, I'm going to compile this. Ah, shoot. I had an ampersand somewhere. So okay, so both the package spec and body have been compiled. It's in the OMS T1 database. Now I go back to the UI. So the first thing that I'm going to do is define my event. So add a new event, and I will call as inventory sync to mainframe. And this is just a procedure assist. This is just to give you the procedures that are on the database. So so that we don't have typos. think I called it as inventory fresh.
Arun, can you
Yeah,
please increase your font?
sure.
Yeah.
Good enough?
Yeah. That's good. Okay.
To mainframe, inventory, refresh. So this is the procedure that we just created. Shoot, it's inventory refresh. I need to fix this. Inventory refresh. So I'm okay for yes, I don't see. Okay, so I copy this, I paste that. So this is just a white typo, right? So I submit that that event is defined. I have one more event which is coming back from mainframe. So inventory coming back from mainframe.
So Arun, like help me understand, like why are we creating this event? Is it like to trigger or to define or to instruct the scheduler or the time frame that it has to follow to trigger?
So what like even in control M, what do? You tell this is the procedure I want to call, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So so here you're telling what procedure need to be followed when this event gets triggered.
Okay. Okay. When this event gets triggered. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we are defining the event procedure name and then the event name.
Yeah. So
Okay. So
you give a meaningful name and then you associate the procedure to the name.
Okay.
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 So
And how do we know that it has to be triggered every 5 minutes or 10 minutes? So where is
no, that is not there yet, right? Here you
Okay.
just say these are my two procedures associated with this name. That's it. Then you go to the group. Sorry, then let's finish the parameters first. Okay. Then
Sure.
each procedure have parameters. So you go register those parameters. So inventory sync to mainframe. Your first parameter is DCID. Data type is number. And that's your first parameter. Your second parameter.
What is the sequence here? Like, do I need to?
Yeah, the sequence is important. The sequence is the sequence of these. In what sequence you have these?
Okay. Sequence of the parameters. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I put 3 parameters for going to mainframe, and there are 3 parameters for coming back from mainframe.
Arun, one question.
Uh-huh.
If in case we are defining data type, if in case we are giving mismatch instead of number, varchar instead of date like that, is there any impact?
It will throw the same Oracle error. What if there is an Oracle error data type conversion, it is going to throw the same thing. You'll right if there is a data type mismatch or something.
Okay. Yeah, that time we need to
if it can convert, it's going to convert. If it cannot convert, it's going to throw the same Oracle error.
Okay. Okay, got it. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, this is all within Oracle. So whatever Oracle does, that's what you're going to see. Nothing outside Oracle. User ID, QID, user ID, QID. Again, you are going to define only one time for all divisions. This is, you're defining for all divisions. So this will be done only one time. Once you define, it is there for every division. You're not going to define for every division, right? So you have done inventory sync to mainframe 3 parameters, inventory sync from mainframe 3 parameters. That's it, right? Then you go to groups. So you create a group and inventory sync or inventory refresh, whatever it is, you call that. And it is for the application WMS Hub, and cycle is on demand, right? Whenever I want it, I want this to run. It's and we will see some other cycles in just a minute. Okay, so I'm saying I want this to be on demand. After I did that, I go to the group events. I am registering the group event, which is inventory refresh for Hub. I'm saying I want inventory refresh to mainframe, right? Inventory refresh to mainframe to be the first one that need to run. After that is complete, I want my second event for the same group to be the from mainframe. So these are the two things, right? Now we have registered. Now we have to provide the values, right? So say we want to run for Southwest, right? Southwest is a division, and we want to run inventory refresh for Southwest for parameter sequence DC ID. This value is 100. Sorry, Southwest. The DC ID is 100. And I'm not going to worry about QID. I'll provide the user ID for Southwest and say test, whatever you appropriate user ID, right? Yeah, it could be some other parameters too, right? I'm just showing user ID here. So this is done. So the first going to the mainframe is done for Southwest. Now coming back from the mainframe, my DC ID for Southwest is 100. From mainframe, my user ID. I'm not going to worry about QID. Southwest is mainframe, right? So I have done all the stuff that I need to run inventory refresh for Southwest, right? Now I have done that. All I have to do is, so imagine this is an on demand, right? So on demand could be initiated by whatever process, right? Like say they run a billing, right? During billing, they could have just called this procedure. So instead of since it is, we don't have a way to call from billing right now, instead we are going to say we are going to initiate from here, right? So we are going to say I want to run inventory refresh for Southwest now. This could be from the UI. It could be from the UI, or it could be from within some Oracle procedure, whatever. We are going to see some examples of that, right? So here I'm saying when I leave this as null, run immediately. That's what I'm saying. I want to run inventory refresh for Southwest immediately. I submit it. Now I go to the logs. And these are the events that has already run. And remember the driver script that we talked about? It runs every minute. And it once it picks it up, you will see it here. Okay, see, it's running now. So it already completed the forward one, because before this could refresh, you see here, inventory sync to mainframe is already completed. And the from mainframe is also completed. You see that? Inventory sync to mainframe, inventory sync from mainframe. You all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
So again, the next time you want to run the inventory refresh, all you have to do is for Southwest, from wherever it is, you just push. And once you push, you will see it run.
So as soon as we click on submit, Arun, so it
Mhm.
will be scheduled during that moment itself, right?
Yes, it is scheduled. Let me show you one more time. You'll
Okay.
And then yeah, I'll show you a little bit more details.
Okay. Okay. So it can be for future schedule as well.
Yes, where I left run after time as null, you can specify the
Okay.
time you want to run it.
Okay. 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 So this can be also be useful for reporting purpose as well if we want to trigger out some report. Okay.
Okay, see it is running, and now you see colors. The reason you see
Yes.
colors now and you did not see colors earlier is the first time when it ran, there was no previous runs because we newly defined that event and everything. There was no colors. From this point forward, you will see colors. The colors go in a WebGR way: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Violet meaning the time, the minimum time for the previous, not the previous, the minimum time for that event for that organization is on the current run. If the current run is less than or equal to the minimum time for that event and organization, it will be violet. If it is less than or equal to the average time, it will be indigo. If it is less than or equal to the max time, it will be blue. And green, yellow, orange is across all divisions. If it is less than or equal to, it will go green or green, orange, green, yellow, orange. And if it exceeds all those, it will become red, saying the time it is taking to execute has exceeded any previous runs for this division as well as for all divisions. Okay, so let me show you. So this is where you have all these tables, right? In these, on the top, you see all the failed events. If an event has failed, we don't go to scheduling team and ask them to do anything. We fix our data or whatever, and then we say, okay, now it is ready to rerun. Change the status to new. And then once you submit it, it becomes available again. When it becomes available, see these new statuses. These are the ones that are eligible to run. So if you see the next time this Northeast is going to run is at 9:05. the next time these things, so these are for Southern, Western, Dothan, Western, all these things are going to run at 9:07, 9:13, 9:14. So these are the upcoming events that are going to be run. And these are the completed events.
Yeah, Arun.
Mm.
So I have one doubt. So if in
Okay.
case that is failed, okay, previously failed, and we where to check? We can check failed region in AppLog table only, or any other way we can
Okay,
see.
the fail status in where? Can you?
Yeah, previously you show that three events are failed. So after you set new and rerun like that.
Mhm.
So if in case that is failed, so where we can get the information failed event like that, what cause it is? Only we get the information AppLog table or any other.
No. Okay, app log table is going to give you the reason why it failed. This is just a
Okay.
log of that. Okay, you would see in what step it failed, right? You will see the last step that it ran. So on this step, it failed. You will know the step it failed, but it will not give you the reason. Here, it is not going to give you the reason. The reason is going to be the error handling is still framework. Totally different things. This is to give everybody an idea of what is happening across all divisions visually, saying, so the operations today, they for OPSIC WMS, right, they have something similar to this, where they see what are the things that have run, what is currently running. This is just a sequence of events for all divisions saying what is happening at the division. App log, and this has nothing to do with it, right? App log is for us to handle, take care of errors or information or warning, all those things, totally different things. So this, the error, why it failed is going to be in the app log if you have done that. But once you fix that, you, for the event to rerun, you come here, change the status, and the event will pick it up.
Okay, got
Okay.
it. Okay.
Okay, so okay, let us push couple of more. So we did Southwest. Let's also add Southern, right? Once you define the events and parameters on the groups, adding Southern is or adding any other division is much more easier, right? So all you have to do is Southern and 150. I think Southern is 150. Anybody disagree? Is Southern 150? Okay, I did 150 for Southern. And to refresh. So again, if you see, you did not worry about QID. I did not provide QID, but everything went fine, right? Like, yeah. Okay. Now that I have for both Southern and Southwest, I'm going to push them together. Okay. So I'm going to run for Southwest and submit it. I'm not resetting this form, so it's not clearing out. So I'm going to go to another screen temporarily and then coming back, just the screen is cleared. That's my bad. I did not do that. Again, I built the screen in 2 weeks. So okay, now if I go to the event logs, okay, so these are except for the southwest one, which is I think that is violet in color. The other events are cyclically scheduled, meaning see these run every hour. So they, remember I showed you those are available to run. Those got picked up and started running by itself. So this one inventory refresh for southwest completed. Southern has not picked up yet. So yeah, these run every hour. These are on demand. And then Southern got picked up and it is in white color right now. Okay, Southern completed. These are still running, and we let's not worry about this, okay, because it's going to run every hour, right? So let's push one more. Before pushing one more, Vinod, are you back?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Arun.
I'm going to show them one more, and then can you take over, please?
Sure.
Thank you. So this simulation group, right now I have it as on demand. I'm going to change the cycle to every 5 minutes temporarily, and 5 minutes, right? So I change the cycle to 5 minutes. See this? So I have changed this simulation group 2 to 5 minutes. Now I'm going to go to the push default. I'm going to select simulation group 2. And then I hope I have defined it, but like, let's try it out. If it errors out, that's fine. So I'm going to say, I want to run this at 9, say 12 a.m., right? I'm just saying it. Okay, 9:12 a.m. I submitted it, and it should be available in the queues. 9:12 a.m. Did I not? It's not available. It's going to make a liar out of me. I did hit submit, right? Oh, it's not there. Okay. Station group 2, Southwest. Seventh at 9:13 a.m. is Rajaji. Oh, there is an error. That's why. So shoot, push default, there is an error. Okay. 1 second. Sorry. Daytime. Oh shoot, I messed up something. Sorry. While I need to fix this, otherwise shoot, I have to fix this. Okay. Let me push this from the database for now. Sorry. sorry, I messed up something. But once I fix the UI, it should work too. Okay. It's my fault. I tested it, but I don't know. I kept changing something and I messed it up. 7. OMS T1. OMS T1. And imagine that I am running it from some external screen. Like even though I'm doing it from Oracle, please imagine that I'm doing it from external. Group 2, 3. Okay, 3. Organization ID is 4. And after time is 9:15 a.m. Okay. Yes, Rajaji. Session commit. Okay. Now let's go. Event queues, status breakdown. Okay. Are you there? 9:15. Yep. Southwest. See that? So simulation group 2. I pushed it for 9:15. So let's go to the logs. So these scripts run every 30 minutes. And in a minute, the other one should start for Southwest. Unless it already failed. Done pickup. Southwest is still there with the new status. Okay, which is good. And event logs. Is Corinne here? Corinne, are you here? No, she's not. Okay. Yeah, the 103. Yeah, it is there. It is eligible. Come on, run it now.
Hey Arun, are you looking for Southern? It says completed, right? 9:15. Is that the one?
No, Southwest. I thought I
Oh,
did
Southwest.
for
Okay.
Southwest. Yeah, it is coming like I get the count. It's there. I don't know why it is not picking up yet. I sent it to Corinne. But yeah, the thing is, Vinod can tell like the one that he is running, it's running every 5 minutes, and it has been running for several days now for Northeast. If you see Northeast,
Yeah.
which is running every 5 minutes, it has been running. So if I just filter by contains 5 minutes. So these are all the Northeast ones, which has been running every 5 minutes. Hey, Vinod, please take over. Yeah, we can get back to this one.
Okay, I'm not able to show the UI, right? So would you be able to show the UI, or should I just show the sequels?
Yeah, you can just show the sequels.
Okay,
Yeah, please.
sharing. Is my screen visible?
Yes, for me.
Yep.
Okay. So this is one of the scripts that was converted. This is the item gen item export UPD script. This is the shell script that calls this SQL to update the item master default pick slot. Awesome. To update the default pick slot. And so we had converted this into a procedure, which is this procedure takes a DCID. So I'll show you the original procedure which we had scheduled using the with Control M. So it just accepts the DCID and the same SQL just uses the replicated tables and updates the table, same SQL as the script. But to convert this to use with the event manager, like Arun said, we have to add the QID. I could have just added to the original procedure as a default parameter, default null parameter, but here I have created a separate procedure. You see the QID, it's tweeting informational messages from the procedure using this event log PK table. And then this finalize, this needs to be added at the end. And then this finalize call needs to be added at the end of the procedure as well, right? And this needs to be added in the exception log. And this was scheduled. That time the UI was not ready, so we had just scheduled it using the procedure calls that the UI is calling. So you have to register. Register the group first. Then you have to register the event. You have to register the parameters for the event, and then you have to register the parameter defaults, and all of this can be done now using the UI that Arun just showed you, and then finally you have to do a push, a default push. Where's that? Sorry, that's this one. Okay, so this has been the one. The actual procedure calls I just showed you were done for another event, but the one event I'm showing you, which is the update item master, that's been running now for several days. So this is the sorry, I had to adjust my screen because my this was not visible. Yeah, so you can see that this is the group that was registered, which is the update event master. For the group, you see the event definitions. Which is this one. And then it's using the 5-minute cycle, which is the cycle which is this cycle number 12. And then to define the event parameters, which is for that event, which was the event 12. Which was actually event 13, group 12. So these line 14 and 15. And then if the Northeast is organization 800, the organization ID is 25 for Northeast. So this needs to be set up the event group organization defaults, and then finally you can do the default push to start running the schedule. This needs to be done one time, and then the scheduler will take over, right? And as Arun already showed you that it's been running every 5 minutes, right? Another example that was done, which was requested by Robert and Rajiv the other day, was it this customer order PR process needs to be run every time. Every time another event happens. So Robert wanted something to trigger the PR process. So we created this using the original PR process in the customer order PK. So the original process was this PR process because it's using the out parameters and we don't want to use the out parameters. I just created a wrapper procedure which has a QID, accepts the DCID, and it's essentially calling the original PR process. Similar things, you have to add the event log tweets for informational messages. You have to add the finalized statement at the end, and you have to add the change status in the exception handler, and then Robert has to call this procedure at the end of his process to trigger this. Now this is on demand. So, this is the on demand cycle that was used for this process. And then after at the end of his process execution, Robert is using this procedure call to trigger the procedure. So, that was, is that, were the examples a little more clarifying? Hello?
Hey, Vinod, I have a question. The last procedure that you showed, can you go back to the last
Sure.
procedure?
Yeah.
But you said, no, the one that Robert is calling, you said is calling it after his procedure.
Okay.
But I thought
Yes.
that was set,
This
that
one?
was run one time. Yeah, this one, yeah.
No,
Isn't
this gets called every time he has included at the end of his process, right? So it gets called every time his process finished because this is on demand. This is not on a schedule, right?
Oh, okay, got you.
So the on-demand cycle is different here, right? So if you go to the cycles, so when I created the event, the cycle that was used was the on-demand cycle, which is, I believe, the first number one cycle, right? So if you see the event, the cycle that was used was 1.
Okay.
So that would be, you will have to call that every time then, the push default procedure. Arun, so now will everybody need to wait for to use the UI, or can everybody use the same UI? Will you be able to publish that intermediately before the Java, the Java UI gets created, or does everybody need to use the procedures?
That's that's more a Kevin's question than mine. I can publish it, but I don't even know.
What I can do, then I can give the script to create an event as an example, and then people can use that in case the UI is not going to be ready or available for everyone.
Yeah, it is there for you all to use it. I can show or give it to you guys. But again, this is there is going to be a better one that is going to be coming.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, while we're working on trying to get things converted, I assume, Arun, that's going to probably come to our team to make sure that things are set up properly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, so these scripts that we know that converted has been running. Like I saw Robert call the procedure on demand yesterday, as well as the other one, Northeast, has been running every 5 minutes, and he is in the process of converting some more. And okay, the one that that did not kick off, did kick off. This is again not on our part. It was on Corinne's part. She's tweaking something. So let me show you that it ran. If you see this, it is running. This is what I scheduled for every 5 minutes, and it ran at 9:29, 9:29, and 9:30. Oh shoot! Oh, I don't know why. Oh no, simulation 1 is complete. That is simulation 1. Okay, this is simulation. Totally different things. Okay, so it has, for the same group, it has two different events. That's why you see two things, right? So like inventory refresh had to mainframe and from mainframe. This simulation group has simulation 1 and simulation 2 events associated to it. That's why it you see 2 rows. Okay, so it did run, and I am still working with like she is tweaking something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it is running. Okay, can we go to a little bit more complex example next? Or do you all need a break or something? Please let me know. It is a little bit more complex example. If you all are ready, we can go. Or if you want a break or something, yeah, let me know. And then I have so many other screens to show too that play along with this. Nobody's saying anything.
Yeah, Arun, for better 5 minutes break.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we will see in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Okay.
Are you all back? Hello?
Yeah, we could probably go ahead and get started. Right. Or continue.
Okay. If you guys see, like I think Corinne had to do some tweaking, and group 2 has been running every 5 minutes now. Group 2. So if you see the first one I showed you earlier, 9:29, the second one ran at 9:37, so it has been running, right? So the it may not be the exact 5 minutes. Probably the reason being the event, one of these events is also scheduled with another event. And if remember the process control I was talking about, it may be the reason it was a little delayed. Okay, but it is running. And I'm going to set that back again to on demand from 5 minutes. I don't want it to be running 5 minutes. It'll okay. I said put it back to on demand. Okay, and the next thing that I wanted to show you guys, 1 second. Yeah, the next thing I wanted to show you guys is simulating a billing. Okay, so we are going to simulate a billing. So this is a little bit more involved one, but we'll go through this. Okay, so a billing simulation. Are you all here still? Hello?
Yeah, yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that? Okay. So billing in our today's scenario, what it has is it goes through tagging the orders, which we call it as set release. It based on the loads that are being passed, we tag the orders, and then once you tag the orders, next thing that you do is run an inventory refresh. Once the inventory refresh is done, then you start allocating. During allocation, it is going to go through like non-cigarette allocation and cigarette allocation in parallel. Once those allocations are done, it is come together and create some reports and send it to mainframe. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So again, this is a simulation code. So the first thing that I said is set release. Next is inventory refresh. Third is allocation for cigarettes and non-cigarettes. Fourth is creating reports, sending it to mainframe, right? So these are all, again, simulated code. So set release is preparing orders. So this loads is probably coming from a UI where the user selected the loads and the user logged on to a division. So there is a DCID and the signed in user, right? So these most likely will come from a new UI. You don't have to worry about this, but this parameter needs to be there for every procedure. Okay, so these come from the UI. This comes from this is something that you have to add. You, as usual, you set up the framework. Then you start tweeting, right? So the tweeting says preparing to tag orders for the given loads, and then the logic to tag orders. And then after tagging orders, sorry, you are preparing and then you are tagging, and then whatever time it takes to tag the orders. Once you are done with that, you are finalizing it. If there is any problem with the logic, you set it to failed and you raise an exception, right? This is same as all these, right? Whatever we have seen with inventory refresh, It is the exact same thing we are applying. No change to it. That is set release. And the next one is, let's go ahead and compile this first. That spec is compiled. Yeah, please stop me, ask me questions whenever you have any question. So the spec is compiled and the body is compiled. Now I'm going back to the UI. I'm going to create my events. Right. So I am creating a new event and call it as set release and set release set release set release is the name of my procedure or a package, and prepare orders is the name of my procedure. So I added that. And then I'm going to the parameters. I have 4 parameters and I have to worry about 3 of them. Set release. 1 is DCID number. And yes, Rajaji. Second is loads. Second is loads, and third is user ID. Loads, data type varchar, and parameter size 400. Yes, Rajaji. And third is use. Okay, so all 3 parameters are set up, and I have set release done. Let's. I'm not going to create a group because this is not going to run by itself. It is going to be part of another group. So the inventory refresh can be run independently. So there is a group for that, but set release is not going to run independently. So there is not. I'm not going to create group for this. Okay. Now let's go back to the second one, which is the billing. So in the billing, okay, you have 2 public procedures, bill and cigarette allocation, right? There are 2 public procedures and there are several private ones. So let's go through that. So the main one is bill, and the bill has a parameter of DCID, loads, user ID, and QID. Okay, so the first thing that it does is it prepares to allocate. The prepare to allocate is a private procedure. So okay, you are setting up the framework. The orders are already tagged by set release. Now we are looking at just those tagged orders, right? So since it is already tagged, now you are working on those tagged orders, doing something, and then as I mentioned earlier, we are going to split up and run in parallel for cigarettes and non-cigarettes. So you are creating on the fly. You are creating the cigarette allocate, like, so you are providing the values for cigarette allocation, right? You are providing the values for cigarette allocation, and you are pushing that event or pushing that to the queue. right? So that it can run in parallel. So this is not going to be coming from the UI, but it is coming from the code. This is what Robert is doing too, right? So when Robert is finished with this allocation, he pushes, he's saying, I'm going to call this procedure, which means the event is going to see that and say, oh, I need to run this. So that's what is happening here. It's being pushed. If you see, I don't have the run after time, which has a default of null. So I don't have to call have that parameter. And one other thing that you see is I don't have a finalize. The finalize are needed only for the procedures that are independent. These are not independent, so I don't put a finalize. And I don't change the status of the queue because it is sharing the same queue ID as the main one. So this is the bill, and this queue ID and is going to be shared by this one. So the two changes that you see are there is no finalize and there is no changing status. It is just raising it to main one. When there is an error in this logic, it goes to the main one, and the main one has both the finalize as well as the changing status. So if there is an error, it will go to the change status and then re-raise it. If there is no error, it keeps going, and then at the final, you'll have a finalize. Okay, so we saw prepare to allocate. Once the prepare to allocate, what it did is it pushed an event out. It pushed an event out, and then it says, I have pushed it out. I am done with my duty. The next sequence is the non-cigarette allocation, right? The non-cigarette allocation is happening in the same thread, whereas the cigarette allocation is happening in a separate thread. So the non-cigarette allocate, if you see again, it has the QID. Apart from the QID, it is just tweeting, doing some logic. It is doing some logic, keep tweeting, and then there is no finalize again. And then there is no changing status. That is the non-cigarette allocate. Whereas cigarette allocate, which is pushed by itself, right? It was pushed by itself, is a separate event. So you set the framework, you tweet, do your logic, and you finalize and you change the status because it is an event, independent event. Okay, so cigarettes is done. Once you are done with non-cigarettes and cigarettes, which are going in different threads parallelly, this should usually be a publish subscribe model. One should wait for the another. Since it's a simulation, I'm not doing it. I'm just sleeping. So once both of them are complete, I am calling the allocate completion thread, and allocate completion thread is part of the main thread, which is going to say, now that the allocation portion is complete, I'm going to do some logic here and do the finishing piece, right? Once the allocation completion is done, I do the post allocate part. Post allocate part again is just preparing to send some files to the mainframe, right? It is FTPing some files to the mainframe. Again, if you see the allocate as well as the post allocate, there is no finalize, there is no changing status because it is part of the main thread. But you just tweet using the QIDs as usual. So you use the QIDs everywhere and you tweet everywhere, but only in the main procedures, you do the finalize and you change the status. And once that is done, post allocate is done. We are saying we are done with our billing. We are closing it. Okay, I know I talked a lot. Questions, please. Anything makes sense? Anything that I need to repeat? Hello?
So the bill is the main process, right?
Yeah, bill is the main process. Yes, that's correct.
And so when you do the registering, you're just going to register the bill?
No, okay. So as part of the billing, I have already registered set release. I have not registered. I have created set release as a separate event. I have inventory refresh also available as an event. And bill and sig allocate will also be registered. These two will be registered.
Okay, and those are public procedures only, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
those are the public ones. Yeah.
Okay. And what was the flow was like? Are you waiting for two of these procedures to complete before the
Yep.
third one?
Yeah. Okay. So on the main thread, right? The main thread is going to be running the non-cigarette allocate portion, whereas we during the non-cigarette allocate portion, we create a different thread to run the cigarette allocation. So two threads are running in parallel. But for us to proceed post allocation, we need to wait for this thread to complete as well as the other thread to complete. Without these, you cannot say my allocation is complete because it's the same customer orders. We have cigarettes and non-cigarettes. We split it into two. We go in parallel so that we can save some time. And then we are trying to merge those two threads to one. So when say cigarette, either cigarette allocation is going to complete first or non-cigarette allocation is going to complete first. If either one completes first, the other one has to wait before it can proceed. So in that place, we need to use a publish subscribe model saying, I am waiting on the other one to finish. Only when the other one is finishing, I can continue.
Okay.
Okay, since it's a simulation, I'm just sleeping because I know how long the cigarette allocation is going to run. Okay. Anybody, any questions? Did we lose everybody? You guys are still here, right?
Yeah.
Does this make any sense? Like,
Yes, Arun.
okay. All right. So let's go ahead and compile. We compile set release. Now we are going to compile the billing PK. So compile the spec. Compile the spec compiled. And body. Body compile. So we have the spec and the body compiled. Now we can go and create the events. So my two events are sorry. I was hoping Corinne is still around. That's all. Okay. So my two events are that I need to register are billing main and billing sig allocation, right? So billing sig allocation, sig allocate. I'm going to this sig allocate. Sig allocate is one. Okay, that we registered. The other one is the main one. Billing main and bill is the name of the procedure, and that's done. So we have both the procedures defined, sig allocation and main. So it involves set release. After set release, it involves inventory refresh. After inventory refresh, it involves main. Within main, we spawn up sig allocation. Okay. So now let's define the parameters too. So parameters for sig allocation. And let me check what are the parameters. So it takes DCID, loads, QID, user ID. So 1, 2, and 4. One DCID. Loads. So we have the 3 parameters. We don't. I need to put QID. Sorry, I'm my bad. 3 is QID, data type number. Okay, so I have all the 4 parameters. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then for main one bill. Sequence 1 is definite, most likely DCID. And let me check one more time. DCID loads user ID, QID. Okay. So I deliberately switched these things to show that QID can be anywhere. Otherwise, like I don't like changing things. I like everything to be in a particular order. Otherwise, I freak out. I normally wouldn't do it, just to show you guys that it can be a QID can be anywhere. I'm showing that. That's all.
Also the name special.
Huh? I did not hear anything.
Sorry about that, Arun.
Oh,
It was in the background.
Okay, thank you. QID. Okay, so we define all the 4 parameters, right? For the main billing as well as for the cigarette allocation. So we have all our events defined right now. Now, and even parameters. Now we are going to create a group called billing. Okay, so we are going to create a new group called billing. And it belongs to WMS Hub. And the cycle is on demand. And that is done. We have created a billing group. And we are going to create an event, group event, where we are going to say my group is billing. And my events are, the first thing what we said is set release, right? So to tag the orders, that's my first one. That's my first one. My second one is inventory refresh to mainframe. So inventory refresh going to mainframe is my second one. My third one is inventory refresh coming back from mainframe. That is my third one. The fourth one is main billing. Oh, sorry, the group main billing. I'm not going to define cigarette allocation because it's a pushed event. Okay, so if you see only 4 in the list of events. So you don't see cigarette allocation. Okay. I'm just thinking, sorry. I think, yeah, cigarette allocation need to be there. I'm thinking, sorry. 1 second. Give me a minute. Suddenly my mind went blank. Okay. Inventory refresh billing set release in 4. Okay, since there is a spawning of a thread of cigarette, it would be its own group on event. Okay, I need to grip a separate group for the cigarette allocation. Sorry about that. Because okay, because everything need to be associated with the group. That's something that I said in the before, and I am breaking my own rule. So billing cigarettes, and WMS hub on demand is Rajaji submit. So we created billing cigarettes, and then that will be its own event. Register new group event, billing cigarettes, and cigarette allocation. That is one same sequence. There is only one. So we have the main billing pass has set release, inventory sync to mainframe, inventory sync to mainframe, and then billing main. Billing main is going to spawn billing cigarettes, right? That's it. And if you see in the code, when I am spawning, I am calling the billing cigarettes group here, passing the application code WMS and the event billing sig allocation. Okay, so these name have to match, right? Let us check. So billing sig allocation, billing cigarettes. So that's what we did in the, there is a hyphen. Okay. Billing sig allocation, I think there is a hyphen. Billing cigarettes is right. Billing sig allocation, I need to put a hyphen. My mouse is not billing sig allocation. Yeah. I need to compile my body again because there is a hyphen. Billing. Let me rename it. I think renaming may be easier than compiling the package and stuff. Billing sig allocation. Modify. Billing sig allocation. Submit. Okay. I renamed it, so I don't have to worry about compiling my package again. Okay. So that is good. We are done with that one. Now we have everything to run a billing. All we need are the values. You all with me so far? Did I put all to sleep?
Yes, sir. Why should billing sig be in a separate group?
Okay, so this is what I said in the beginning, right? Okay, the reason we are putting that as a separate group is it is not going in sequence. It is spawning its own thread, so it has to run in parallel. If you put within the group events, it can only run in sequence. It will be serial as opposed to parallel.
So how about the non-sig? I mean,
non-sig is going to be part of the main one. Main thread otherwise will not do anything, right? So non-sig will be part of the main thread. So it will keep doing the non-sig while the sig is spawned out.
So can both the sig and non-sig run at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what happened today, right? It happened, and yeah.
But I thought you said one should wait for another to finish or something like that.
No. So
Okay.
the amount of time for cigarette allocation and non-cigarette allocation would vary, right? Say cigarette allocation takes 5 minutes and non-cigarette allocation takes 7 minutes. You cannot do the post-allocate portion until the other one completes.
Oh, okay. Got you. Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Did someone else have any question? I heard somebody say something. Hello? Okay. So now we are going to, this is again, you have to imagine that this is actually done by an user from a UI where they are going to say, oh, release my billing. These are the loads, right? Since we don't have that, this is a simulation. Otherwise, you would not be doing this here. It would be coming from a UI. So we are going to simulate what is going to come out of UI. So you have oh shoot. Man, when it breaks, it breaks. It okay. It should limit only to the ones that the events should limit. It should not show all the events. I don't know why it is broken. Yesterday it was working. Today it's not working. I messed up something. So we said set release is one of them, right? Set release, it has DCID, and DCID is for Southwest 100. Yes, Raja. Okay, so this is set release prepare, and then yeah, this I need to improve it so that it clears up and stays along until you close it. So billing, set release, parameter sequence 2 is the loads. So for Southwest, I'm going to say load number 100, 101, 102, 103. These are the loads that we are going to be releasing. And set release for billing, parameter sequence 3 is user ID. Southwest is operations. So usually operations release the billing. So one of the operator user ID, right? So we have the set release defined. After set release, we have inventory 2 mainframe. Two mainframe, DCID, Southwest. Billing sequence, inventory from, two mainframe. Parameter 2 is QID, 3 is user ID, Southwest. Operations. Okay, these usually will come from UI. So this is, since we are simulating, we are doing it again. Okay. Okay. To mainframe, inventory to mainframe, that is done. And from mainframe, billing from mainframe, parameter sequence 1 is DCID, Southwest, 100, yes, Rajaji. Billing from mainframe, user ID for Southwest, operations, Rajaji. So that is done. The next one is the main billing. Billing. Main Parameters are DCID is for Southwest is 100. Billing, main billing, loads for Southwest, 100, 101, 102, 103. Yes. Rajaji. Billing, main, we use user IDs for Southwest. Operations, Rajaji. Submit. So main billing pass is done. Then we have cigarettes. Cigarettes, billing cigarettes, cigarettes, allocation, DCID, Southwest, 100, yes, Rajaji. Billing, cigarettes, and cigarettes. Parameter 2 is loads for Southwest, 100, 101, 2, 3, Rajaji.
Yeah, Arun, I have one question.
Yep.
So when you are given loads, you are given 101, 102, 103 like that.
Yep.
Okay. That load only process or all loads process?
Only those loads will process. Okay, again, this is a simulation.
Okay.
Okay. But yes, only those loads will be. That's why you are passing the parameter, right?
Yeah, correct.
What's that? Set release. Okay, I missed for set release. I missed QID. So set release, QID. I need to add QID for set release. That is parameter 4. Parameter 4 is QID, data type number. Okay. All right. We have everything ready, right? This we are going to push and see what happens. So we are saying we are going to run billing. I did do cigarettes, right? Southwest. Run now is Rajaji and submit it. See what happens. Okay, we submitted billing. Okay, it released. It is preparing to tag orders right now. Since it's the first time, you see it in white color. So it's tagging orders, which is the next one. Extracting inventory from mainframe because this event has run, like we have run some inventory refresh. Since we have run this, that's why you see colors for this one. Because it is for Southwest and we have run this particular event, even though it belongs to a different group. So back from mainframe, now it is going to split up cigarette and non-cigarette. So if you see the non-cigarette portion is running, we are expecting the cigarette to run in parallel. I'm hoping it will come sometime soon. The next time the driver script. So now you see the cigarettes and non-cigarettes are running in parallel. Allocating spelling. Okay. Now cigarettes is complete. Once cigarette is complete, now still the non-cigarette portion is still allocating. So you see something here called lap that is enabled. So not all of them have laps, but some of them have laps. If I click on the laps, it tells you the individual steps that it ran. So part 1 of cigarettes, part 2 of cigarettes, part 3 of cigarettes. It tells you individual steps. So you can enable or disable the laps if you want. I'll show you how to do that too. So non-cigarette portion is still allocating. Now creating files and reports for mainframe to FTP. Everything done. Billing is done, right? So we went through set release, inventory sync to mainframe, inventory sync from mainframe, the main thread of billing where it did non-cigarettes, and then this is Northeast which sneaked in between, and then cigarette allocation, which was parallelly run, right? And cigarette allocation has a lap, which tells you the individual steps. It keeps a record of all the individual steps, right? So if I have to do another division, it is pretty easy. All I have to do is update the parameter. I don't have to do any of the groups and stuff. It's already there for me. All I have to do is parameter defaults. I will quickly do it from the backend for now and show you how easy it is. Any questions so far? Hello? Did I confuse you guys enough? Is anyone there? Knock, knock.
Yeah, we are there. Arun.
Did anything make any sense? Okay, probably not.
So it is too long process now. We
Huh?
can understand. It is too long process, like set release process.
Okay, so it did what I did not make sense. Is that what you're saying?
No, it is makes sense, but it is too long process now. We create parameters and all things, default parameters.
Yeah, but yeah, usually some of these come from the UI.
Yeah.
Some of these come from the UI. You don't have to do these, right? But we are since we are simulating, we are entering it. Otherwise, the values come from the UI. That is one. Let me show you how easy it is to, like, once you set up the groups and events for one division, or not for one division, it is general, right? Once you set up, it is easy to spawn for any division, any number of divisions. Okay, so if you see, the reason that you see a lap for cigarettes is in cigarette allocate. If I can see it, where is cigarette allocate? Okay, here I see, and I add another optional parameter is increment to set to true. If I set it to true, you'll have a lap, right? If it is necessary, you can add it, but you don't want to create noise. Only if it is necessary, you can do it. Okay.
Okay.
If you do the increment to true, you'll have a lap. So lap 1, lap 2, lap 3, lap 4. So it'll hold on to individual messages. The messages that you see that are changing, you will see them like how much time it took for each steps. You'll see all those. Okay. So to do for another division, it's pretty easy. Okay. When I'm trying to do this, let me do one thing. I'll give the UI to you guys. You guys look around and we'll go from there. Okay. I'll give the UIs to you guys. One second. Let me stop. And I hope 196. Okay. My IP keeps changing every time. 196. Run. Okay. Try one. Shoot. Okay. Let me put the IP address there. The chat. Okay. Try that. See if the screen comes up. You guys keep playing on it, and I'll ask one of you guys to push the default. Okay. So let me know if the screen comes up. If you're able to see data and stuff.
Okay.
Yes, Arun, it is coming.
Okay, I have made it available for three divisions. So if you all want to pick between, okay, you can pick any one of 4 divisions, right? Like Southwest, Southern, Dothan, and Western. If you all each want to pick one division, like whoever wants to do it, pick one division, go to the push default screen and pick the division that you want and push it, submit it, right? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Change password.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I cannot see it because it's like if one of you want to share the screen, please do, because it's I cannot get to my IP from my own machine for whatever reason, I don't know.
You tried last.
Yeah, I will share my screen.
Now, in audio things, right? So, okay, do one
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, pick billing as the group.
Ping ID already installed in your mobile. Okay, now all these things are done. 1 second.
Not cigarette, yeah, billing. Yep. And then yeah, you can pick between Southern, Southwest, North, not Northeast, so Dothan, and Western, whatever division you want. And you just the user ID, no run after time. Yeah, just give the user ID. Yep, submit it. And then go to event logs. If you want to if anybody wants to submit a division, you could. Hey, you have submitted already. Go to event logs. It doesn't clear. Sorry.
Okay, that's not come through email. Outlook there.
All the way down. Event logs.
Okay. Yeah, through that we connected. No, because the same thing for me also. So
okay.
Teams I couldn't join.
So your set release is running. If you want to do another division, you can, or if anybody else want to do another division, they could.
Okay, so these columns, there are 2.
Yeah, go to event logs. Okay. So somebody is running for Western and you submitted for Dothan. So everything is there. Yeah, if you.
Arun, when multiple divisions are running set release, so it's queuing up, right? It's queuing up. It's not running in parallel, right?
No, each one is independent of each other, right? So they can run in parallel.
Oh, they can run in parallel. Okay.
Yeah.
So what there's no table locks or anything?
No, it is their own. Like they are not going to be updating the same row.
I mean table. Okay, there's no There's no table locks or. So
no,
process
like
restriction.
Oracle does row level lock by default, no, not table level.
Okay. Now, if you have it in the code, I mean, if you like.
Why would you do that?
I mean, in TMS we have, right? Yeah.
Oh no, TMS is SQL Server. That is that operates on a different premise.
Okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes even in Oracle you do update for table, right? So.
No. Unless there is there are cases, yes, but no, we would we should not see somebody saying lock my table. There are cases, I don't disagree. That's why it is there. But these don't warrant a table lock.
I've seen it in OPS for some procedure, right?
There may be
Probably-
cases again,
Yeah,
but no, these are all row locks. So
Okay.
no.
So we don't have any process restrictions for any of these, I mean, for this billing?
If you when Western is running a billing, right? When you okay, I have some more screens to show. Yes, you are like somebody cannot go and run an inventory refresh at this time.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Right, that that needs to be blocked.
Okay, got it. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you are seeing everything is running, right? That's all it is, right? Let me show. Can you drive, Chandra? You are the one who is driving, right? Can you drive some? Okay, go to some other screens that we haven't looked at. Okay, let's go to restrictions. Group restrictions. So if a group cannot run against another group, this is where you put, right? So the inventory refresh cannot run against billing. You will say inventory refresh group is is the driver and the restricted group is billing. You define the restrictions here, right? Here it is a group level restriction. Can you go back to the Burger King menu, please? Yeah, and click on the next one, event. So you can also say, if this event is running, I don't want this event to run along. So you can say, when inventory refresh is running, I can run set release, but I cannot run the main billing pass, right? I can set at event levels too. So you can set at group level, you can set restrictions at event level. Can you go back to the other restriction, please? You can set at group event level, two down. Yeah, group event. Yeah, you can set at when this group is running, I don't want these events to run. I have not put any data. That's why you don't see, you're not seeing, but you can set these, right? When this group is running, I don't want any of these events to run. Go to the other one, please. The event group. And this is the other way around. When this event is running, I don't want these groups to run, right? So these are the different restrictions. Can you go back to the menu, please? So this is where you control what process can run against what. Okay, keep going down, helper. So there are two helpers here. One is SQL injection. I think we are coming up with a different word for this. I don't know what it is. Yeah, click on SQL injection. Sometimes click on the header, one of the rows, first row, click on the first row. Okay, look, scroll down. No, click on the first row. Click on the first row, scroll down the main scroll bar, scroll down on the main scroll bar. Not, click on the first row so that you will see the detail. When you click on the header, you should see the detail. So these are the header detail, right? So these events, most of these come into play. So say you want to run a procedure or a SQL right before some event or a group, or right after the completion of a group or an event. You can specify those, right? These should be rare. It should not happen, but there are cases where you may want to do a cleanup or update a row before you want to process something. If you have some need for that, you can inject those SQLs using these screens. Am I making sense? So the choices that you have, the generics is not a choice that you will have. The generics is for the event management system to work. The choices you have are event or group. That's it. You don't have the other choices that you see here. So when you create a new header, you will be given only whether you want it at the group level or at the event level. And the choices for the execution point is either begin or end. Do you want to run in the beginning or do you want to run at the end? Okay, those are these SQL injectors. Okay, can you go back to the menu again, please? helper block. Say you have to compile the code. Today you tell Control M to say, can you put a hold on this job or something? You don't do that anymore. Control M will not care, right? So if you want to change a package or compile a package or a procedure, global block is something, it goes across all applications, all divisions. It'll put a global block, right? If it is all application, WMS Hub, TMS, WMS Lite, OMS, it puts a block on everything. Application block is something it puts only on the application you specify. If you want WMS Hub to be blocked across all divisions, you say, I want WMS Hub to be blocked across all divisions. Keep going down. Organization block. Organization block is something where you say, for Southwest, I want to block all applications, which means all the jobs are not going to be running just for Southwest. Okay, keep going down. So then you have the organization and the application. So you can say, I don't want a WMS Hub to be running for Southwest. I want to block that, right? So this is application and organization. So you can say, for these divisions, I don't want WMS Hub to be running. So I can compile my procedure or package. Or for some reason, you want to block until you figure out that issue. So these are the blocks. Okay. And go to the Burger King menu, please. Chandra, go to the menu. Yeah. So we have seen almost everything. We have seen status. Okay, go to status breakdown. Okay. Let us scroll up, please. So here are the failed events. So let's create one. Chandra, can you go to OMS T1, please? In your PL SQL developer or SQL developer. Open the AS Raja, the package that I just created for inventory refresh. Just now I created AS Raja G inventory sync PK. Yeah, open that package body. No, two up. One up. Yeah, open that. Open the body. Go to inventory refresh. Go up. Do a divide by 0. Put some logic there. Do a divide by 0. No, where it says some logic here, go down. Declare some variable. Go down. Yeah, declare some variable. Line number 39. After line number 39. Yeah, after that, on line number 40, declare a variable, L something. No, line number 40. Declare a variable. And yeah, where it says line number 51, say L var is equal to 1 divided by 0. Colon equals. Compile the package. Okay, submit an inventory refresh from the screen. Go to push defaults. And pick the inventory refresh group. Inventory refresh. Yep, select that. Or pick a division. Okay, Southern. Okay. Yeah, give the user ID and submit. Okay. Now go to logs, please. Okay. We know this is going to fail, right? We are simulating a failure now. Okay, Southern, it's released. Okay, it failed. If you see in the bottom, it says failed, right? And we know the reason for failure. Let me share. I got an email as soon as it failed from Control M. Let me forward this to Chandra so you can show everybody. Chandra, I forwarded you the email. And yeah, open that email.
So for this only, you get a smooth desktop icon over there. Once
Yeah,
it's empty, you can
open
go
that.
over there. Okay. So that is pending.
So it tells you what happened. So divisor is equal to 0, so you know what the problem is. So this is in the top. You see the procedure that it is calling. This is what the control is calling.
Okay.
So it sets the context. This is how you need to set the context. It needs to come from an external agent. You should not be setting the framework context inside your procedure. It comes from outside, and then it calls the generic procedure, passing the DC ID, and then at the end it resets the context, right? And we know the problem is divisor is equal to 0. Now go fix the package, please. Control Z, or yeah, Control Z everywhere, so that and then compile again. Control Z. Yeah. Now go back to the status breakdown. Go to the status breakdown. And go to the first menu where it says failed. Change the status to from failed to new. Yeah, go to the right where it says change status. Click on it. Change it to new. You have to change it to new, where it says status. And give your user ID. Okay, you can leave it, but yeah. Okay, now it went away from the top. Now go back to the logs. So it is running. It's the same event. You fix the problem. You set it to new. It'll pick it up and start running again. So the first event is already complete. Yeah, both of them are complete. Yeah, the sync is complete. So 20683 and 20684 are your events. Okay, so this is how you approach a failure. Does everything make sense? I think we have covered all the things that are here. Any questions, any of you guys? Do you all see where we are going to from where we are? We are getting away from going to control as a scheduling team. We are scheduling it using event management system, and scheduling team have already scheduled generic scripts which will pick up our events and run through it. Does this make sense? Are you all here still?
Yes, Arun.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we are not going to go to Control M and ask them to do like can you do that, can you do this, and all that stuff. No out parameters. no logic based, like control M should not be coding for us. We should code for ourselves. We are the developers. They are not. We cannot go to control M and ask them to do the logic. They are very frustrated. We need to get away from that. We need to try to do smart programming, better programming. All the out parameters that we send today need to come out immediately. Okay. So Santosh and I were conversing last night. He sent an email as well. Last night, meaning my last night, his morning. So he sent an email as well, right? So we are ready with Golden Gate, right? On ManP, Cumberland and Northeast have been running on ManP. Every time Samik refreshes data, we have to redo for Lakeland or Concord. That is totally different, right? So on OMS T1, we are pointing to ManP2 for Cumberland and Northeast, and ManP for Concord and Lakeland. That is OMS T1. On OMSP, we are pointing to ManP for Cumberland and Northeast. E-commerce, we are pointing to production e-commerce for both OMS T1 and OMSP. SIG-WMS and OP, we are pointing to OP-SIG-D2 for OMS T1 and OP-SIG-P for our OMSP, right? So the only thing that we don't have today is EBS. We have to work on that. It is going to be time consuming. We will work on that, but that should not stop us from going to common code. So we need common code. We need to use Golden Gate. We need to get rid of out parameters being sent to control M. We need to start in moving towards the event management system. Wherever and however possible, we need to use the event management system. And framework, we need to be using smartly, right? The framework, you cannot set app code within your code. It needs to come from external. You cannot do debug in production. The thing is, the more the messages you have, it becomes the noise and you will not be able to figure out. There are places where you may need more messages. There are places where you can get rid of messages. You have to be, you know your code, you have to be smart about that. We need to get to better level of programming. This is, again, the level of coding need to change drastically. The way we approach. We need to modularize code. We need to get rid of hard coding. Am I making any sense? Does this, hello, anyone there?
Yes, sir.
Does this all make sense or?
Overall, we are understanding what is the process going on.
What is that, Chandra?
So we are understanding, Arun, what we create all things like package creations, and after that we create events, event parameter, default parameter, all things.
Not only that, Chandra, what I'm saying is we need to get rid of out parameters. We need to use framework smartly. We need to remove hard coding. We need to use Golden Gate.
Yeah, everything I'm saying, I mean, everything is good.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone?
No, we are good for now.
Okay. So Concord is coming. So if you have any questions anytime, please let me know. Or you can talk to Vinod too. He is also working on the same project. So please let us know. We are here to help, and we have to make this better. We have to make, there is a big leap we need to see for from where we are today to where we need to be for Concord. We cannot have multiple versions of code. We cannot have hard-coded values. We need to clean up so many things. Okay. And let me share one more time. Oh, shoot. I went to sleep. Okay. So we saw the demos for inventory sync, for billing, everything. So I hope there is no, okay. If you have questions, like it is not that you have to ask all questions now. You can ask anytime. Yeah, please. Yeah, keep this channel open so that we can discuss. There is always room for improvement from my side as well as the event side. Only as you all use, I will know what need to be changed, what need to be tweaked, and all that stuff. I can go back to the scheduling team as well if need be and ask them to tweak certain things. Need everybody's help in getting there. And for your time and presence at this time, I really thank you. If there is nothing further, I am going to say good night to you guys. If there is anything, again, yeah, ask me or ask us anytime.
Okay, sure, Arun.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arun.
Thank you.
Thanks, Arun.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you, Arun.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
think we are going to finish oatmeal without giving you?